Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 11 Pro Max and compare it against the iPhone 12 and see how both these particular iPhones compare and hold up in 2025. Now, there's some really big things to kind of keep in mind here because for one, I'm a big fan of the iPhone 12 and I am also a big fan of the iPhone 11 Pro Max as well. I do feel like both these phones are fairly good. They still have a lot of capability and a lot of stuff to kind of throw in inside of these types of devices. So let's go and see kind of how they both compare. Now, if you do want to go ahead and pick up either one of these particular devices, links will be down in the description below. You can get that from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones. The iPhone 11 Pro Max, which came out back in 2019, on the front side of this particular phone is basically going to be giving you a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, this is a pretty, big display for the most part. It's a fairly large phone. So if you're about to go through and pick up a device, you're going to have to remember that these types of devices are definitely going to end up being, a bigger sized phone. So if you're okay with getting a bigger sized phone, then you might like this one. But if you're not, then you might have to look elsewhere for the most part. That is kind of one of those things to keep in mind there. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but again, could be one of those small things to kind of keep in mind from that particular situation. This phone is also 60 Hertz, 1200 nits of brightness. Pretty good looking display, nothing super insane, but it is a display that is a little bit outdated nonetheless. With the iPhone 12, you're getting a smaller sized 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this panel is slightly smaller, so kind of keep that in mind. It's also going to be a more modern type of panel. The main reason for this is because the iPhone 12 has these flat sides to it, you're actually going to be getting a little bit of a better type of experience for the most part on something like the iPhone 12 because of those flat sides compared to the iPhone 11 Pro Maxes. That particular side is essentially going to be curved. It's going to feel like it has more bezel on it, but it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it is just going to be one of those small things to keep in mind there as well. Now you're still going to be getting 1200 nits of brightness instead of that particular display as well, which is pretty nice. It's 60 Hertz displays on both. The notches are pretty much the same size on both as well. On the bottom of both these phones, you're essentially going to be getting lightning ports. So this is always something that's nice to have. I love having lightning and you're definitely going to be getting that type of capability here too. That is something that I really, really do appreciate between both, but USB-C is better. On the back side, you're getting a standard glass back on the iPhone 12 and you're getting a frosted glass back on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So this is something that I actually like a lot, right? I love frosted glass backs. And you're essentially going to be getting that on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, whereas on the iPhone 12, this is going to be a little bit of a different story. The iPhone 12 is essentially going to be giving you a better type of, it's going to be giving you more features on the back because it is giving you that MagSafe capability. That is something that is actually really nice to have inside of that type of phone. Unfortunately, with something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, there's no MagSafe there, but it is giving you this frosted glass back. So there is somewhat of this flip-flopping going on. So that is just, again, one of those minor things to keep in mind there for the most part. On top of that, both these phones are giving you camera setups. The iPhone 12 is dual, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is triple. So we'll talk about that in a second. Another pretty big thing to keep in mind here too is the price tag. The iPhone 12 right now is going to be costing you about $190 on Amazon, where the iPhone 11 Pro Max is going to be costing you about $148. So that right there is also going to be a slight difference. If you, again, are wanting the phone that is going to be giving you a little bit of a better build quality there, it might be something like the iPhone, or the price tag situation. The iPhone 12 might end up being the one that's going to be giving you a better, price tag from that situation. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. But if you are wanting the phone that is going to be giving you a little bit of a better, price tag, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is going to be ever so slightly cheaper than something like the iPhone 12. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now on top of that, another very important thing here too is the fact that with something like the iPhone 12 and the 11 Pro Max, the cameras on these phones are still actually fairly decent. So the iPhone 12's camera is this dual 12 megapixel sensor. It's a 12 megapixel wide and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, where the iPhone 11 Pro Max is giving you this triple 12 megapixel camera. So this right here, I think, is something that's actually very nice as well. Being able to go through and pick up a phone like this that's going to be giving you this type of capability, I think is something that's very nice. They're both giving you 4K 60 on the front and the back. And if you are about to go through and pick up a phone for your everyday use, you're probably going to feel like both of these phones are going to actually be pretty decent. And that again is something that's very important, to kind of keep in mind, because both these devices are going to be giving you very good capability and very good quality. And I do think at the end of the day, that is kind of a really important thing to keep in mind there for the most part from that side. So if you're about to go through and pick up a phone, I do think both these devices do give you a pretty good experience. It probably just so happens that the iPhone 11 Pro Max is giving you that telephoto lens, but the 12 is giving you just overall higher quality when it comes down to it. So from that side too, that kind of covers it up there as well. When it comes down to software longevity, both these phones are still technically supported with software. It's going to be kind of tough to tell though which one is going to be the longer lasting one here. Like, are you wanting the longer lasting one? It's probably going to end up being something like an iPhone 12. So that is always something to kind of keep in mind here as well. Because if you are wanting the phone that is going to be giving you longer software support, like I said before, it is pretty much going to be something like an iPhone 12. But the iPhone 11 Pro Max is still here to stay. It's still here for another year, I think. Who knows what's going to happen with iOS 19. But as of right now on iOS 18, you're still getting software support, and they're both still supported for the most part. So not too much to really hate on here for the most part. When it comes down to the batteries, you would think that the iPhone 11 Pro Max's battery would actually be better because it is giving you like a bigger size battery. But the surprising thing is that with something like an iPhone 12, I've always felt like this phone was giving me better battery life than the iPhone 11 series. So if you are wanting a phone that is going to be giving you better battery life, you do have a higher likelihood here of getting better battery life inside of something like an iPhone, 12 in this case, than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. At least my particular 11 Pro Max isn't really that great, and I've had lots of battery issues with these phones in general, but I've also had some battery issues with some iPhone 12s, which is not a big deal. But if you are wanting the better battery life, it's probably going to be something like an iPhone 12. And finally, when it comes down to the performance, the iPhone 12 is going to be giving you the Apple A14 Bionic chip inside with 4 gigs of RAM, where the iPhone 11 Pro Max is giving you the Apple A13 Bionic chip inside with 4 gigs of RAM. So this right there is another very important thing to keep in mind here too. Because if you're trying to go through and pick up a phone, I definitely do think that the iPhone 12, as you can probably imagine, is definitely going to be the faster phone here. Right? It's going to be giving you a better chipset, just better capability, and just a better quality phone overall than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. But I still think something like an iPhone 11 Pro Max's performance is not terrible, but you're definitely going to be feeling like it's going to be a little bit slower than most modern phones, both of these, because of the lack of 120 Hz displays. So that right there can be kind of an issue. I feel like that right there is kind of one of the bigger problems kind of going on. But here's the way I would kind of sum up these two devices. I genuinely do think both these phones are fairly good. They're not too terrible. The iPhone 12, I think, is the one I'd recommend a majority of people to go ahead and buy. Number one, this phone is going to be giving you, a more modern feeling phone with its flat sides. I think that right there is going to be a very big thing, very big takeaway. It's going to be a faster phone, better camera quality, and potentially better battery life. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is cheaper and it's a bigger phone. If you're looking for a phone to be bigger, then something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max might be perfect for you. But I think for all intents and purposes, it does make a lot more sense for you to go and buy something like an iPhone 12. Honestly, buy an iPhone 13. That would be a far better device than both these phones. So in terms of that, that's kind of how I see it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, till then.